Hey guys, so I just finished this morning's asana practice, yoga asana practice, and I wanted to share with you that I haven't been really feeling as consistent as I used to be with my practice. I feel like I don't want to practice at all, and it really makes me think about commitment, right? Because if you want to get good at something, you need to practice. You need to be committed to your practice, and being committed to something means that you show up when you don't want to. That is what true commitment actually means. It's not to show up when it's easy, it's to show up when it's hard. And so it made me think about, okay, what is a way for me to continue to engage in my practice without having to push through as much as I have always been doing in the past. In the past, I would always just force myself to do things that I actually didn't really feel like doing. And then I went through a whole phase of kind of softening into that and allowing myself to rest whenever I wanted and to not push so much and to just, take it easy and be comfortable. But then I tend to kind of lose myself in that. And there is something to say about showing up consistently that is very valuable to me. It's a very devotional kind of attitude, right? And so this morning I woke up and I was like, I really don't want to practice yoga asana. But you know what? Let me just roll out my mat, sit down, and just try a few things, okay? Not try to be perfect, I try to meet my body where I'm at because I tend to make progress with something and then I want to maintain that level of progress, if it makes sense. So, for example, I do a Paschimottanasana and I really go very deep into the stretch and I can touch my chin and I can, go super, super deep into the posture. Then I try to maintain that level of depth every time I practice. But sometimes my body's not there. And then I feel like a failure when I can't make it. And so I feel bad about not being able to make it. And that makes me not enjoy my practice, right? So instead of doing that, I this morning tried to just change my mindset and be like, okay, I'm going to just show up and do the Paschimottanasana, but not try to reach the same level as I used to. Just go into the posture as far as I can and not try to be perfect, not try to maintain some level of proficiency or some previous level of depth that I achieved before. And then now I regressed and so I'm a failure. Like, this is really a mindset that I want to overcome because it's not about that. It's about showing up and meeting yourself where you're at. And so I wanted to share with you, perhaps you're struggling to start with something or you have some practice and you've been feeling like you don't really want to get into it as much anymore and you're doubting yourself and you're questioning yourself and you're asking yourself so many questions about whether or not you actually want to be doing this or not. Remember that you can let go of the pressure around your performance. You can just meet yourself where you're at. Just simply start, If you want to create something, some art, or you want to start singing or something, okay? Lower the bar as low as you can get and start there. I lowered the bar to let me roll out my mat and show up and try the posture and go as deep as I feel like I can and not judge myself for not being able to go deeper. Same thing if you want to paint something, okay, just take the paper, take your paint and start painting. Don't create this expectation for it to be perfect or for it to be this amazing piece of art because you will feel so stressed out before you even start because you want to reach this level of arbitrary excellence, this almost perfection, and you don't even start, right? And it's a very common theme and it's very cliche to say, you don't have to be perfect, but sometimes it's really hard to let go of this internal pressure, this judgment we hold towards ourselves. Like, I struggle with this a lot and it's super interesting because it still happens. Sometimes I feel like, I moved past that perfectionism and all this performance anxiety and all that, but actually it's kind of still part of my process. Subconsciously, it's still kind of making me get stuck. And so if you allow yourself to suck, like literally allow yourself to suck with anything and everything, even the things you have been practicing for a long time, the things you feel like you have some sort of proficiency in, or some form of mastery in, or skillfulness, even in those things, allow yourself to suck, because that way you can maintain this beginner's mind, this learner's mind, because you can always go back to the basics and improve on the basics, or improve on the things you feel like can help you achieve something else, a different a different approach, a different perspective. You know, you're never really stagnating or regressing, even though you might feel like you are. You're still showing up, right? You're still showing up, and the accumulation of showing up, that's what is truly valuable. The accumulation of the showing up for yourself, the commitment, the consistency, that's actually what's truly valuable. Not necessarily the performance that you put down. And of course, it's nice to reach some level of mastery and then be able to perform properly. You know, the practice I do, it's a very beautiful practice, and I'm very proud of the progress that I made. I'm very happy that I made such amazing improvements in my skill. But I need to remember that it's okay to start over again, and to be a beginner again, and to suck. Allow yourself to suck. It's totally okay. And that can really help you to cross that barrier of starting, because the most important thing is to start, right? And if we have this really high bar, and if we try to make it perfect from the start, of course it's not going to work. And so we feel all this pressure, so we don't want to start. At least for me, that's how it goes. You know, sometimes if I want to paint something, I'm like, it needs to be super beautiful and perfect, so I don't start. But then I don't allow myself the process of learning, of playing, of making mistakes, of making a fool out of myself sometimes. You know, I remember I tried to paint this like penguin figure on some birthday card of a friend of mine, and it absolutely looked horrible. It sucked, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was really funny afterwards to look at this penguin and be like, yo, it's absolutely terrible, but at least I tried, you know. And you can do the same with anything, with writing, with practicing music, sharing your work, your creativity. And even if it's just for yourself, this internal critic is trying to keep you from starting, because you have to really get to this level of excellence from the get-go. Release that and start slow. Allow yourself to suck. I need to also allow myself to suck. And it's so humbling, right? It's really, really humbling, because sometimes the ego starts seeping in. And I'm like, I should be able to do these postures. Why am I not able to do these postures? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is not nice, this is not fun. Then I don't want to do it. And I get upset like a little child, you know, inside I get upset about it. Like, what? I can't do this anymore? What's wrong with you? And then it's really important to take a step back for me and to understand, okay, it's fine. You know, I meet my body where I'm at. Today I feel stiff. Tomorrow I still feel stiff. The day after I still feel stiff. Maybe the whole week, the whole month I feel stiff and tired. Fine. Okay? Don't compare all the time with previous performance or other times. This is not the time. That's in the past. And yes, you can have goals, and yes, you can have, I used to be able to do X, but today you meet yourself where you're at, and maybe your skills change and your energy changes, and that's absolutely okay. So I felt like I wanted to share that, mostly as a reminder for myself to not forget that it's okay to suck and to start over and to meet yourself where you're at, and to not try to be perfect, because that just keeps you stuck. And if you allow yourself to just let it go and to just really get into the present moment and allow yourself to unfold exactly as you are without having to push yourself or rushing yourself, then things start to happen. And the beautiful thing is, once I reach that state where I can allow myself to suck, then things start to flow. You know, the video that I posted in the beginning, this came after I let myself make some mistakes, and then all of a sudden, bam, I'm back in the flow. Perfect, because actually your body remembers. Your body has been through it so many times. So sometimes you just have to remove the obstacles mentally, and then your body takes over, especially if you have a practice that's that's been consistent for a long time. So I vouch for consistency. I vouch for not trying to force yourself too much. Of course, show up. Don't, you know, like even 1 minute, even if I just roll out my mat and sit for 1 minute, totally fine, right? If I then after 1 minute, I'm like, not today, cool. But at least I tried, I showed up. Same for you. If you're trying to learn a skill, if you're trying to improve on something, show up. Show up, do one pull-up, make one drawing, write one word, sing one syllable, I don't care. One thing consistently over time, you will not regret that. You will not regret doing that, I promise you. Okay? So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope it was helpful. I feel very, I don't know, happy to be sharing this with you. Perhaps I will start sharing a few more videos with you again, because I feel like somehow there's still some creativity flowing for me inside me to share with you all. So yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting with you more on here, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.